You might have to help me with the chat. Okay, it's showing that I'm live. Hey everybody, how are you? This is take 2 on our live. Hopefully this is going to work for everybody, and hopefully we won't have that lag that we had the first go round. Hey Marcia. Yay, I'm so glad you made it back. Okay, Jennifer's telling me in my ear that everything looks better, that I'm moving in time with the camera. I know we've got a lag. That's normal to have a lag, but I just want to make sure. Oh, good. Marcia can see me and hear me. Yay, that's a good thing. Jennifer, okay. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to hop on. Jen, do you want to go, and then you can just call me back if you need me? Okay, I'm going to, hey Margie, bye Jennifer. Okay, I had Jennifer in my ear, great. I don't know what happened, but I had worked so hard this past week in trying to get this all worked out, and all of my kinks worked out, and then I come on and it just wasn't good. But anyway, I got it straight now, and hopefully this is going to work. I can see the chat window. I went directly through my streaming software, and I kind of bypassed, because I have a code that lets my software work into YouTube without me having to bring up YouTube Studios, which is good. So this is actually a much better scenario of me doing that. Then, and let's see, I don't see Donna back yet, but she should be back here shortly. And we've got Jennifer, so her and Donna are going to be moderating for me again today. And thank y'all so much for your hard work and being here and moderating for me. Hey Marlene, how are you? We had technical issues the first go round, so hopefully we're good now. So I'm just going to chit chat with everybody for a little bit. I hope everybody's doing good today. It is windy and cold here today. It's so funny. Sometimes I look at my phone at the temperatures, and I have everywhere from Orlando, Florida, to Thompson Falls, Montana, to Portland, Oregon, to Jackson, Michigan, and Richmond, Virginia. And sometimes it's so crazy, because my temperatures will be colder than some of these people, that's family and friends that live in the north and the northwest. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm almost at the South Carolina line. It should not be this cold for me. It really should not be. Do y'all get the gist that I don't like the cold weather? I really don't. But I wanted to, I felt so good about being all organized today. I think that's what you call it. I'm just not real sure if it's organized or or thinking I'm organized. But I want you to look at this. I have a basket. Let me switch over to my craft table view. And look, I have everything in a basket. How about that? I have my instructions that I wrote up to go in the description, all typed up, and everything is there. And I've got my cardstock all laid out, and then my computer program didn't work. But anyway, I want to show you the card that inspired me to make this. I was at a retreat this past weekend. It was a virtual retreat, so I wasn't there. I was right here in front of my computer. But we did a mystery stamping, and this is the card that I made in my mystery stamping. And I think she called it a flat fold card or something like that. I thought it was so cute. I loved how pretty it came together, and I just loved everything about this card. But but I wanted to, y'all know me, I've got to take it up a notch. So I decided that I wanted to make a Christmas card, and I know that we haven't even got to Halloween yet, but you see my red and my gold and my white. I got some white scraps. I've got a red scrap. I have a gold scrap. I have a 8.5 by 11 inch piece of red cardstock, and I have Painted Christmas Designer Series paper. And we're just going to use one piece of this, and we're going to use front and back. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? To me, that screams Christmas. The holly and the greenery, and then look at the back of that. So pretty. Hey Brenda, how are you? I was thinking about you the other day. I said, I got to call Brenda and see how she's doing. So anyway, I'm going to set this paper to the side because I pulled out, I think, what I need. I am going to be using my Stamparatus, and let me show you the stamps and dies that I'm going to use. This is called Words of Cheer Bundle. The Christmas cheer dies and the Words of Cheer, and this, I love the fonts on these. It's kind of whimsical, but yet it's just a pretty font. Plus you've got these ones that are just in plain plain printed text, which I love. I love the fact that you got this little solid stamp where you can go in and stamp the smaller flowers solid. You've got the little dots that you can put in. It's just really a cute stamp set. These are your little holly berries. You can make your own little holly. The stamp that we're going to use for our focal point today is this one right here. And I already have it set up in my Stamparatus. And we're going to use that one. So I'm going to, let me show you these dies. The dies are literally to die for. You get this background stamp that says happy. I always never get these right. I think it's like that, happy. And then you get this word that's happy, and one will lay inside the other, and you'll see that when I get everything together. You have some stars and some holly and some more stars, and you have this little I guess this is like a little border. I haven't run that one through, so I'm not sure. But then you also get these other ones. Look at the cheer and the cheer. It's kind of the same thing with the happy. And I just love the way this set worked. So we're going to be playing with those dies as well. And y'all know me, I got everything pre-cut ahead of time. But we're going to do some of it together so I can show you exactly how we're going to do this. So I got stamp blocks. Look at this. I'm organized, y'all. I got my two stamp pads or ink pads. I've got a real red and my Momento Tuxedo black. I also pulled in my scallop contour dies because we're going to use these for some labels. We're going to use that largest one for inside our card, and we're going to use this little one to stamp Christmas on it. And I think you're going to really love the way this card turns out. Let's do some stamping to start off with. So I am going to lift this up, and I'm going to put just a scrap. These magnets are really holding that in there tight, so they're doing their job. I'm going to pull a piece of my basic white, and I am going to put it right about there, maybe there. Make sure when you line this up you know exactly what line you're lining it on, and put that down. And a word of caution, if you have the Stamparatus, which I know some of you do, make sure that you keep these magnets far away from each other. If you put them together, they're going to clank and break. That's why I got washi tape on mine, because I broke them when I first took it out of the package. So I'm just checking to make sure that that's going to stamp where I want it to, and it is. So I'm going to bring this over a little bit so y'all can see what I'm doing. I'm going to be using alcohol markers on this, so because I'm using alcohol markers, I'm using my Momento ink. So I want to ink this up really good. And I did the Stamparatus in case I needed to stamp it over, because sometimes when you've got a larger stamp like this, you don't always get that perfect stamp the first time. Hey, that's not bad. that's a testament to the quality of our Stampin' Up! Stamps. They are wonderful. All right, I'm going to move that ink pad out of my way, and I'm going to go ahead and take this out. And let me grab my little Stampin' Chamois because I am just going to wipe this off. I'm going to wet this with some water. I meant to go wash these out before I came live, but I got sidetracked, and I didn't do it. But anyway, I know this thing looks awful, but it's stained. I wash this out at least 2 or 3 times a week. So they stain, but when they get old like this, they're so pliable and so easy to use. And I love it for cleaning off this type of ink. Now this won't clean your VersaFine or your StazOn, any of your permanent type inks like that, but if it's a water-based ink, a dye ink, it will definitely move it. So word to the wise, if you are using, did anybody see Donna pop back in? I haven't seen Donna come in. So hopefully she got the notification and she's back. So okay, I'm trying to look at the chat and I really shouldn't. Jennifer, you're doing a wonderful job. Thank you so much. Okay, if anybody has questions, ask Jennifer, and what I'll do is I'll have her call me, and we'll go over that at the end. Hey, Alicia, I'm trying to catch everybody as they come in, but it's hard when you've got your head down here, paying attention to what you're doing. Sometimes it can be a little difficult to catch everybody as they come in. I'm going to put my Stamparatus back up there, and I'm going to bring this image back in. And if you were late coming in, Alicia, we're working with the Words of Cheer and the Christmas Cheer dies. And we're going to make this card. I'm going to go back over it really quick. This is a card that I learned how to make at a little online retreat that I was at this past weekend. And it's going to be a really fun full card, but we are going to do it and make it a Christmas card. I'm getting ready to gear up for my Christmas cards, and I thought, well, why not today? Why not just go ahead and make a Christmas card today? So what I'm going to do is I took out some of my Stampin' Blends, so I'm going to bring out my colors that I chose, and I'm going to go over these with y'all so you know exactly what I grabbed. And I got my Take Your Pick tool. I have my dark cherry cobbler, and these come in a set of 2, but I only use the dark one on here. I have my Real Red, light and dark. I have my Polished Pink, light and dark. I have my Evening Evergreen, light and dark. Shaded Spruce, light and dark. And I did mine with the Mango Melody, but on the list I put Daffodil Delight because this one is no longer available. They have retired, and I didn't realize it until I was typing everything up. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch mine out, and I'm going to grab my dark Daffodil Delight because that's what I put in the description. So I meant to do that last night when I was pulling everything, but I didn't. So what I want to do to start off with, I'm going to start off with my Real Red, and I'm going to use the dark. I'm not going to color this whole thing because I've already done it and I've already got it die cut for the sake, but I just want to show y'all a little bit of the coloring because I think y'all enjoy that. So I'm going to zoom you in about like that, and all I'm going to do is go into these inside areas of my poinsettia, and I'm not going to do that centerpiece. I want to save that and make it a golden color. So I'm just going to very gently go in like this, bring a little bit of that color down. I'm going to do the same thing here, and I'm just basically just squiggling some color down. I'm not trying to be perfect. I just want to get some color in here because our lighter color is what's going to give us our magic. So we're just going to go in there like that. Oops, wrong one. And I'm going to put my top back on. You always want to put your tops back on your alcohol markers, and I'll tell you why. you know how fast alcohol evaporates. It's the same thing with your markers. So I always try to make sure I take really good care of my craft supplies because, hey, they're not cheap. We all know that our craft supplies can run us into some money. But you know, when I first started out, I bought the cheapest of everything until I realized that there's something to be said for quality. You know, I always say you can only be as good as your tools. And I learned that the hard way, and I bought so much stuff that I have now that I don't use because I found out that quantity over quality. You know, you think about it, it's like going to a restaurant. Do you get a hamburger or do you want to get the filet mignon? You're going to pay a lot more for that filet mignon, but oh my goodness, it's going to taste so much better than just a hamburger. And I think it's so true with our craft supplies is the same way. A little bit of good quality is better than a whole lot of quantity. And it took me years to learn that, but it was a lesson well learned. Now I'm going to let this dry a little bit before I do any more coloring on it because I need to see where it's going to lighten. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to go in with my shaded spruce, and I'm using the dark. Again, I'm working, because these are small areas, I'm working with the bullet tip rather than the brush tip. It gives you a little bit more control. So I'm going to go down here to these holly leaves, and I'm just going to outline. Like I said, you know, go back to your first, second grade coloring. You know, we always outlined everything because it made it so much prettier. When I was a kid, I always took so much pride in my coloring because I wanted my pictures to be the prettiest. I don't know if y'all were like that. Now I'm going to go in with these little branches here, and I'm just going to put ever so here and there this color. Doesn't have to be perfect. I don't want them all the same color, so I'm just doing a few here and there. And then this little piece of, I don't know if you want to call it like a pine bough, I'm just going to draw over that so it will look green. And we got one sticking out up here. This is probably going to be the most time-consuming part of your video. Hey, Jen. And Jennifer's letting me know that someone was asking about, do these markers have refills? No, they don't. No, they do not have refills for these markers. These markers are, you buy them and then when they're empty, you throw it away and you replace it. I do know from my red one, my light real red, my tip, not this tip, the other tip, this one came out. It actually, I pushed on it too hard and I shoved it all the way in, and then I took a pair of tweezers and to pull it out, and when I did, it pulled all the way out. So I'm thinking that you might be able to, but I don't think Stampin' Up doesn't sell the alcohol ink to refill these. I don't know if you could use other alcohol ink in these, so I would say from a Stampin' Up point of view, probably no. So I know I haven't been able to refill mine, so when they run low or they get where they're not coloring, I toss it and I just get another set. The bad thing is they used to sell them individually, now they sell them in a set of 2. So it's $9 for 2. Most of the time you're going to use one color more than the other. So that's where I have a problem with that. I wish they would sell them individually again, and maybe if they hear from us enough, they will do that. Okay, I'm coming back in now with the light shaded spruce, and where I colored those leaves, I'm just going to blend and blend, and then I'm going to go in. So I'm keeping Jennifer in my ear so that if anybody has any questions, just post them in the chat and she will transcribe them to me, and I will do my best to answer. And Alicia, that was a very good question, because I'm sure other people have wondered that same thing, whether or not you can refill these markers. But, you know, we live in a world today where everything's disposable, and that's why our landfills are full. But one thing I can say, I love the fact that we can buy the reinkers for our ink pads. And we can always have a, you know, I missed a leaf. I just saw that. So let me go, you know what, I'm going to do this leaf a little darker. I'm going to use the light Evening Evergreen with the dark shaded Spruce and see what that looks like. Now watch me love it, and then I'm not going to want to use the one I've already done. If I can get the top off of it. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to go in with the light Evening Evergreen, because this is a darker color, and I'm going to go around the edges like that, and then I'm going to take my dark Evening or shaded Spruce, and we're just going to blend that. And don't be afraid to mix your inks. You don't have to use the light and the dark of the same color. You can mix your inks. It's nothing in the world wrong with mixing up your ink, your markers, because, you know, if you don't like it, just stamp it and do it again, right? That's what I always say. So I'm not going to color the whole thing. Yes, Sonia, it does bleed through the back. A lot of times I'll put something on my surface to protect it, but if you are cutting this out as a die cut and you're going to put it onto a card, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see the back. If this is going to be your actual card base and you're coloring it on your card, what I would do is I would lay a piece on the inside underneath. It doesn't bleed through the thick basic white as much as it does the regular. This is just regular basic white, which is much thinner than your thick. So, and the other thing too, most of the time what I color with my markers is not going to be seen, because I die cut them and then I stick them down with dimensionals or glue or glue dots. So that was a good question too. Thank y'all for asking questions. I'm going to come in now with this the dark Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to put a little bit of color here in the middle. And on the one that I did, I'm going to show you the one that I did, and it's all colored and ready to go, and I used some of the pink on my holly balls, and look how pretty that turned out. Let me zoom y'all out so you can see a little bit better. And see how pretty that turned out? So I'm going to lay this over here, and I'm going to show you, we're going to go ahead and start building our card now. So what we're going to need for your card base, and let me get my measurements over here so I can read them off correctly and not be guessing. You're going to need 2 pieces of real red. You're going to need your large piece is going to be 4 1/4 by 8 1/4, and we're going to score it at 5 1/2. Now, when you fold this, that your flap is going to be to your left, folding to your right. So that's going to be our first piece. Our second piece is going to be 3 inches by 5 1/2. And we're going to score at 1/2 inch on that 5 inch side. Or, as I wrote it up in the directions, score at 5. It's 5 1/2. If you score at 5, you don't have to guess which side it needs to be on. You know it's going to be on that 5 1/2 inch side. So what we're going to do is we're going to crease this, and make sure that you crease this down really well, just like that. And you're going to put adhesive on this piece right here. So it's up to you if you want to use your liquid glue, if you want to use your tape runner, if you want to use your tearing tape. It's totally up to you. Now make sure that you're putting it on the side that's folding. So you don't want to put it under here. You want it to be on this outside, because what this is going to do, it's going to stick right in the middle of this piece right here. You're going to bring it right to the edge. You're going to eyeball it, eyeball center. You can measure if you want to. And let me show y'all a good way to use your grid paper for measuring. This is my small grid paper. I love this stuff. I think it works fantastic. So you can put this down and lay your card on it. We know that our card is 5.5. So I'm going to lay that right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, 4.25. 4.25. So now when you put this on, you can kind of gauge where this piece would be halfway. So that would be right about halfway that one and about halfway that one. So that way you can use your grid paper to know that you're putting it where it belongs. So I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'm just going to run a piece of adhesive along there. And look what I did. I ran it out off the edge, but that's okay. Just fold it back onto itself. And you know, I didn't get enough on this side, so I'm going to come back and put a piece there. And again, I'm folding it back just to make sure I don't have any sticking out anywhere. And now looking at my grid paper again, I'm going to kind of eyeball where I want this to go. I'm eyeball centering. And I think right about there is good. So once I get that in position, I'm going to push it down really tight. So now we have the outer workings of our card. So the fun part is decorating it. So you're going to need to cut a piece of designer series paper, and I showed y'all I used that painted Christmas. And what I did is I cut a piece to go on the front, and this piece measures, let me get my measurements again, y'all. Bear with me. All right, your mat for the front, this is going to be 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. And we're going to go ahead and stick this down. And you can use liquid glue. You can use, and I think I am going to use, I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I am going back to this. I like, I love my liquid glue in this bottle, and we're not going to mention any name, but you know, whatever glue you like, use the glue of your preference. So I am going to put that down, and I am going to stick this, making sure I don't think this has a directional pattern, so I don't think it matters. So I'm just going to stick that down just like that, give it a good rub. And I also, in those contour, the scallop contour dies, now I'm going to tell y'all something. If you don't have this die set, you are missing out. We have got a beautiful scallop piece, and these labels right here, I didn't buy it for these flowers. I don't even think I've ever used the flowers. I bought it for these because these dies are wonderful. And the third one from the smallest, so 1, 2, this is 3. I used this one, and I cut just a plain piece of white. Look how pretty that is. And we're going to put that right here in the middle, just like so. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use my liquid glue for this too. And I'm going to just put the glue on the interior because I want those little scalloped edges to kind of, you know, be able to raise up if they need to. I think that gives it a real ruffly kind of feel that I love. Okay, we got that down. So the next thing, I cut from the other piece of this paper, the other side of it, because the one good thing with Stampin' Up, one side of the paper will always match. They just coordinate so well, because look at that soft green, I think that's soft seafoam, and it matches up perfect with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece down here. And again, I'm going to use my liquid glue. And I don't know if I've missed anybody that's come in. I hope I haven't. Hey Donna, welcome back. I was worried that you wasn't going to be able to find the chat, find the live again. So Jennifer's been holding down the fort while you were trying to get back in. So I am going to stick that back in there. So now we have a focal point to put our little spray. And I think I like it like this. I also cut out that smallest die in the scallop contours. And I just stamped Christmas on it. Isn't that cute? And remember me telling you how cute it was to have some of those that were just in printed text. Now we can drop this down to here if we need to. I want to put this on, but I want to pop it up on some dimensionals, but I want to see how I want this to lay out. Because remember I told you we were going to need a scrap of gold and a scrap of red. I took my gold piece and I used that happy and I cut that out, and this is what I have. Isn't that pretty? But I used my red piece and I used the other word happy and I cut this piece out. So guess what we're going to do? We're actually going to layer those over top of each other. Now I'm going to have to be extremely careful because I am gluing to gold paper. If I had thought about it, I probably would have done this with some foam tape or something and then put it on, but I didn't think about it. So you know what might work is some glue dots. I wonder if it would be better to do glue dots and I wouldn't have to worry about getting glue on it. Let's try it. If it doesn't work, we'll take them up. And I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. Y'all know I use this for everything. And I'm going to roll these little glue dots up and make them little small pieces that will fit. You know what? I'm not going to put it on the gold. I need to put it on this piece because I need to make sure that they are behind the red. So again, that's what makes these glue dots so neat to have in your craft room, because you can mold them and make them work where you need them because they are so forgiving. And you know, they remind me of, you know, when you get advertisements in the mail, like, you know, they're going to give you a new car at that local dealership and they've got the key glued down to that card. My husband's such a kid at heart. He'll take and pull those off and stick them under his nose and tell me he's got boogers. You know, in every man there lives a little boy that's dying to get out. So, and hey Brian, how are you? It's so good to see you. And y'all stick around because I'm going to do the giveaway at the end of the broadcast, or the end of this tutorial. So I've already got all the names in and everything. So don't y'all leave. Don't y'all dare leave, because and I also got a surprise. Marcia had the paper from last week, so we're going to redraw for that paper. So we're going to have 2 free drawings. So you stand a chance to win. You have 2 opportunities to win, which I think is super. So Marcia is such a caring and giving soul. But you know what? I think most of us would do that. If we had already had the paper and a surplus of it, we would want to bless somebody else with it. I know I would. So I'm going to put this one right here. I think this is going to work really well, and it's going to give me an opportunity to glue this down without fear of getting glue all over that beautiful gold cardstock. Because you know what happens when you get glue on gold or silver, any of your metallic cardstocks, it is ugly. I mean, it is just plain ugly. Let's see how this is going to work out for me. If I can get it to stop sticking to my fingers. Move those glue dots out of my way, making sure y'all can see what I'm doing. Alright, I'm going to start and try to get my H lined up. And I'm just going to work this around. P doesn't want to cooperate, so let's make him behave. There we go. Over just a little bit. And you just want to go slow if you're doing it like this. You have to go slow. But look how beautiful that is. Are y'all loving that? I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's bring our card back over because we want to make sure that we're getting everything exactly where we want it. And I want that to hang over top of the Christmas. So once I get that placed down like I want it, then I'm ready to adhere everything. So I'm going to take these off. I'm going to turn this over and we're going to put some Stampin' Dimensionals. And guess what? I got those in my little basket too. I'm so excited. I don't think I've ever been this organized. Y'all should see, you know, I have people that to tell me all the time, you seem so organized and so together. Oh my goodness. If you could see my craft room, you would not say that. I like things organized. I work better when things are organized, and I do have to clean up in between crafting, in between my projects. I cannot craft if I got stuff all laying around. So yeah, I have a mess here now. As speaking of which, let's move these because we're not going to be playing with the markers anymore. I just wanted to show y'all how easy it is to blend your colors using the Stampin' Blend markers. So now that I've got this done, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool and I'm going to lift off these backers. This works really good. I think I got a piece of a glue dot on the end of that. That's okay. And just lift them off, and you can see when you've taken them off because you're no longer matte, you're kind of shiny when you lift these up. Let's see, which way do I want that to go? I think like that. Yeah, like that. What I'm doing is being cautious that I don't want that to go over the edge on either side. So I'm going to go ahead and commit to that. Uh-oh, guess what? I'm going to need to cut these off because I wasn't thinking of what was going to be hanging over. So tell you what, let's just pull that up. I should have thought about that when I was putting the dimensions on, but hey. And that's not sticky, so that worked out pretty good. So y'all are seeing me fix a boo-boo. This happens a lot of times when you're crafting, and I'm sure that things like that have happened to you as well. And what do? You fix it. So now that's going to work without sticking to our other part of our card. So now I need to just, I have a frog in my throat. Let me get a sip of drink. I think my allergies are as bad in the fall as they are in the spring. So I want this to kind of hang down a little bit down here. So maybe we'll do happy right there. What do y'all think? What do y'all think of that? I like that. And we put some gems up here and kind of dress it up a little bit. Do y'all like that? I think I'm going to go with that. So I want to put some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of this as well. but I don't need them where it's going to overlap on top of this because we already have dimensionals there. So I need to start maybe on the P, maybe right here on the A. So I'm going to start right there on the A, and I'm going to use the mini Stampin' Dimensionals. These work out so good when you got the little small spaces. And so I'm just going to lay these in where I think I can hide them. And we're going to put some glue on that H up into that A. I think that'll work. I think I can get one more, maybe two more on here. Okay, so I'm going to take some glue, and I'll tell you what, let's take these backers off first, because, am I out of frame, y'all? No, I'm still in. I always try to double check and make sure that I'm not. It's so easy to get out of frame when you're doing something like this, because you have to be cautious of what you're doing, and then you also have to keep looking at your monitor, be it your camera or your computer, whichever one you're using, to make sure that you're staying in frame. And I do get out of frame ever so often, and my glue, there it goes. I thought my glue wasn't going to work there for a minute. Alright, so I'm going to take this now, and I'm going to put it right about there, and set that down, making sure I'm getting it as straight as I can. And then this piece, I'm going to put glue across the top and a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals. No, I'm not putting anything on the bottom because it will stick. We don't want it to stick. Maybe a little bit more glue right here. And I'm going to stick this right up underneath that happy. So what are y'all thinking so far? Do you love it? I think it's so pretty. When I was putting this together, I was like, oh, I am loving this. So now we need to do some fancy footwork inside. Remember I told you I cut out that largest scallop? That's going to be on the inside. Just like that. That's going to cover up that working, so nobody's going to see it. But we need to stamp a really pretty greeting on the inside. So let me grab my stamp set, and we could do Season's Greetings, or how about Happy Christmas from my home to yours. I love that. Love it, love it. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. It's not a real big sentiment, but you know what? Sometimes you don't need anything real big. Let's look, when we close our card, let's see where it's going to fall. And it's going to cover everything beautifully. So I'm going to take that off, lay my card up there. I'm going to put my pen back in my glue, or you know I'm going to have a mess. When I get ready to use it again, it's not going to work for me. Okay, I need my Momento Tuxedo Black ink again. And I need another stamp block because I didn't pull one out for this because I wasn't sure what sentiment I was going to use. Now I want to try to get this straight. And if y'all have trouble getting your sentiments straight in your cards, which I do, try to center your paper on something like the grid paper, and then you can kind of better see up and down exactly where you're at. I'm going to go into my ink, and then I'm going to come back and try my best I should have used my my little stamping pad, but I wasn't thinking. It stamped pretty good. So that turned out pretty good. And you know, sometimes if you don't get a good stamp when you do that, you can take one of your black markers or even a fine tip Sharpie and just kind of go back over it. Have any of y'all done that before? I know I have. So now this can go down on the inside, and like I said, that's going to cover that workings back there. And I think for this one, since it's a larger piece, I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. So I'm just going to run some Stampin' Seal all along the sides, making sure I'm getting it on the corner, maybe a piece in the middle for good measure. And then make sure that you don't do what I've done in the past, and that's glue it in upside down. Oh my goodness. Yes, if there's a mistake out there to be made, I guarantee you I have made it at some point. So there we go. And that worked out really good. Now, if you want to go back, you can stamp some little leaves. These little leaves like this would be so cute to stamp. I need another stamp block. We're going to stamp some holly in the corners of these. What do y'all think? So we're going to put a holly leaf here. And maybe here. And maybe one there. And there. Oops, I knew I didn't get that one. That's okay. And I'm going to put a couple over here. Bit like that. And now I'm going to come back in, and I think I'm going to I didn't put this ink pad on because I wasn't planning on doing this. Y'all know I always go think outside the box. I'm going to use my shaded Spruce. I don't know what it is about the real red and the shaded Spruce, but to me those colors just absolutely scream Christmas. So I'm going to go into my stamp set because we got that little leaf that is solid. And guess what we can do with that? We are going to fill in. And I hadn't tried this, so we're just going to hope it's going to work. Shaded Spruce. And that's a little bit darker than I wanted it to be, so maybe we'll stamp off and then stamp. Oh yeah, that's much better. Stamp. A lot of times when you're filling in like this, you do need second generation stamping. This will keep it from being so dark so it doesn't overpower what you're doing. And we're going to come back and put some holly berries around here as well. And I've got ink all over the stamp block, which if I'm not careful, and that comes from rocking your stamp block in the ink. So, and look, I got inky fingers, y'all. Look at that. I never ever stamp without getting ink on me. It is just, oops, let's go over here. So you can do third generation and even get it lighter. I think I'm going to come back over here and do one just a little darker. That's that one that I made a boo-boo on. So let's go here. Oops, I didn't do that right. See, I'm getting ink again on my stamp block. And this is if you could very easily color these leaves, and that might even been an easier way to do it. But I wanted to show you that we have that two-step stamping is what they call this. Anytime you can color with your stamp blocks. And I know that some people absolutely love that because it gives them an opportunity to not have to color. They can just do it with their ink pad. All right, let's go in now. Let's get rid of that green. Oops. And I'm going to grab another stamp block, and we're going to grab those little holly balls, and they're very tiny right there. So I grabbed my tiniest little stamp block, and I'm going to grab my real red, and we are going to stamp. And I think that's all we're going to do with the inside. Now you can come back if you like. You can come back and put designer series paper on those inside flaps if you want to, or you can leave them as they are. It's totally up to you. I'm going to leave mine today because if you cut pieces for this, just remember they're going to be the same size as what you had out here. Let me get an alcohol wipe and wipe my fingers off because I have ink all over me. I need to get that ink off before I touch my card and then have it all over places on my card that I didn't want it. And I just got it everywhere, y'all. I probably would have done better with water than alcohol. So let's spritz my hands with water and grab a paper towel. And I'm going to move this out of my way, and then let's close our card. We got to put some gems on it. Y'all know I love me some bling. So what is a Christmas card without some bling? I'm using the Wonderful Gems because these just scream Christmas to me. Look at those sparkle. They look like Dorothy's ruby slippers. I'm going to bring those up closer, hopefully that you can see that sparkle. Isn't those gorgeous? And they're called Wonderful Gems, and they are truly wonderful. And I'm going to put one there, the larger one, and then I'm going to come up here and grab a couple of the small ones. And we're going to make them look like little holly berries right here. And another small one right here. And then where else do I need a gem? I think I'm going to use one of these gold ones. And let's put that right here beside Christmas. And another one on the other side of Christmas. Isn't that beautiful? And you know what else? Where else I want one? I want some in the middle of our poinsettias. The big poinsettia is going to get the big one, and the smaller ones are going to get the small ones. And I'm using those gold ones because I think they're beautiful on the middle of the poinsettias. Now, do y'all say poinsettia or poinsettia? I know it can be pronounced both ways, but I always say poinsettia. And there is our card. How beautiful is that? These are not hard to make. You could sit down and stamp out quite a few of these, especially if you have a stamping platform and a die cut machine. You could run these through and make a bunch of these and make this your signature Christmas card for the season. I love the way that scallop is peeking out right there, and I absolutely love that inlay or overlay for the happy. I wish we had one that said Merry, but they didn't do that. We have happy and we have cheer. So I think Christmas cheer would be beautiful. There's just so many things that you could do with this particular bundle, and I hope y'all have enjoyed this. I do want to talk to you a few minutes, so I'm going to transition me back over. I'm glad y'all are loving the card. I want to do the drawing. That's one thing I want to do, but I'm going to bring me back over for a minute, so you'll have to endure my mug for a few minutes. But what I want to do is I want to show you, what did I do with it? What did I do with my prizes? Now y'all, I had my prizes here just a minute ago. Let's see if I'll lay them back here. Well, I was so organized. What happened? I had them all together and with this week's prize as well. And now I don't. Okay, let's see if I laid it under here. Nope. I am going to get this off of my computer because I don't like for stuff to be on my computer because of the heat. Let's see. Oh, okay. Marlene, I'll do that. I'll take you out of that one, but I'm pretty sure you want to be in. I don't know if you have the silicone craft sheet. That was this week's prize, and then I'm also going to have the drawing for next week, which is going to be, it's a beautiful pack of paper. and when I find it, I'll show it to you. Gosh, I cannot believe that I misplaced my prizes. Oh, here they are. Voila. I knew that I had them somewhere. Okay. First thing we're going to do is we're going to draw for the Penguin Playmate paper pack. And I'm going to take Marlene out, so let me go in and I'm going to go to Tools and the Random Name Picker. And last week was the 19th. I remember that because it was Marcia's birthday. So we are going to add or edit names. So I am going to take Marlene out. So delete Marlene. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and pick my winner for the Playful Penguin, or the Penguin Playmates. Such a cute pack of paper. So here we go. Let's oh, come on. Look, I said 11/19, and it wasn't 11/19. It was, okay, here's our names. Let's make sure I did get, yeah. Okay, Alicia, and I don't know how I spelt your name wrong. I know it's got a Y in it, but we know who you are. Sometimes this thing changes. If I call your name and I do not have your mailing address, please email me your mailing address. My email is in the description below the video. It will be, and I think Jennifer had put it in earlier. And Jennifer, you can pop that back in again. Some of you, y'all know I have your address because you've ordered from me, or either I've mailed you stuff, so you already know that. So here we go. We're going to choose our winner. Let me transition back over. Okay, there's our names, and choose. Helen Smith. Is Helen here today? I don't have Helen's email, and I don't have her address, so I'm going to put her name on this. And if Helen, you're watching this, Yeah, I knew it was 10/19, Brian. I put the wrong date in there, but just accidentally. So I haven't set up anything for that far out yet, that's for sure. Okay, Helen Smith. So, Helen, if you watch the replay, I will give you until next week to get in touch with me. And if you haven't contacted me via email by then with a mailing address, then I will redraw next week for a new winner. So, Helen, if you watch the replay, and I hope you do, get in touch with me for that pack of paper. All right, the next thing, let's go out of that one, and the next one that we're going to do is the one for today. I need the one for the, where's my groups at? Here we go, 10/26 giveaway. That's today's, and we're going to choose our winner. Let's edit our names first. Here's our names. So I have Alicia, Brenda, Brian, Carmina, Connie, Margie, Marlene, Marcia, Susie, and Vivian. So I'm not sure who all is here because I have had my head into the craft table, but let's see. Okay, here we go. Here comes our winner. Brian Dickey. Brian, you're going to get this silicone craft sheet. I've got a full video on all of the different things you can do with this. So this one's going to go to Brian, and then I'm going to show you what we have for next week. And I'll get this, I got your address, Brian, so I will definitely get this out to you either today or first thing tomorrow. So that is all the drawings for today, but now I want to show you this pack of paper. Y'all seen me use this paper. In fact, I used it on the card that I put up yesterday, and I think y'all are going to love it. It is the gold and rose gold specialty paper, and look at this. Is that not gorgeous? And it comes in two colors. You get the gold and you get the rose gold. I thought this would be a beautiful pack. This is in our annual catalog, and it is a specialty paper. It does die cut, even though it has a almost like a plastic feel. So when y'all saw me working with it yesterday, if you caught my video, you know that if you die cut, you're going to have to pick at it a little bit to get it to get your pieces out. But it does die cut beautifully. You can heat emboss on this. I've done that. It is just a gorgeous, and let me put the little backer back in here. These were the things I was telling you to save if you buy paper from Stampin' Up. This is chipboard, and that's what I used for the album, the little recipe album that we're going to do with the gingerbread and peppermint. These are my pieces that I cut out of scraps that I saved. So every time I get a paper pack that has this chipboard behind it, I save it. So let me transition back over to me, and all you have to do to be in the drawing for this is give me about 15-20 minutes after this video is over, and then go to the YouTube Live, this particular one, and all you have to do is leave me a comment, and that will put you in the drawing. And I would so appreciate, I finally understand algorithms and how they work. Every time you like, share, and watch my videos, two things happen. The algorithms, it sends messages to YouTube, the powers that be, and they say, okay, these type of crafters like her video. So then I will fall in, you know, on the side when you watch, like say if you watch a Meme video or a mindless crafting video, it will show you suggestions. Well, that's where the algorithms will push my videos over so I get more traffic. Also, if people look something up, it will put me out there into the loop for people to find my crafting. So that helps me out quite a bit. Also, if you watch my videos and you watch to the end of my videos, it helps me in my videos being monetized. I had been doing this for over 2 years, and I finally got my first check from YouTube. I earned $170.55. Not going to break the bank with $170.55, but I cannot tell you how thrilled I was to earn money for just putting up videos, because y'all know I've been at this for a while and I go at it every day. I mean, I take this as a job. Oh, somebody said they love my necklace, and I meant to tell you. This necklace, hang on just a minute, hang on. Marsha, I haven't decided on a live. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Let me go back over this real quick. Somebody said they loved my necklace and how good it looked with this black shirt. This black shirt's actually a very dark navy blue, but this is a necklace that I bought from Asia Rutledge. She sells the paparazzi jewelry, and I got this necklace and earrings. The necklace and the earrings, not these. This is another pair of my earrings. I think these were actually Avon. I don't have expensive jewelry. Probably my wedding bands and my wedding ring, my engagement ring, is probably the most expensive jewelry I own, other than my Samsung watch, which I never wear. But anyway, those are my two most expensive items. But I like costume jewelry. Because I don't wear it real often enough to really put a lot of money in it, and I figure $5. So if y'all have not visited Asia's her paparazzi shop, I try to plug for her whenever I can. And yes, please give me thumbs up. The thumbs up, the likes, the shares, all of that. If you can share my videos on your YouTube, if you have Instagram or Twitter, anywhere that you can share my videos, that helps me so much. And I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. Now, let's talk about the album that we're going to start tomorrow. Would y'all like that to be a live? I don't know that I'll have a moderator, but what we can do is y'all can watch, and then I'll stop periodically and take questions. If that will work and y'all would rather do it as a live, that's fine with me. If you would rather me do them as recorded videos, we can do that. I might even do the premiere. I've never done a premiere, but how that works is you record your video, you set it for a time and date, and then I come back into the chat and I chat with y'all as the video plays. So, okay, give me a 1 if you just want it as a recorded video. Give me a 2 if you want it as a live video, and a 3 if you want it as a premiere video. And I want to please y'all, so I will do it whichever way y'all want to do it. I'm good either way. So I'm going to have Jennifer let me know how many 1s, 2s, and 3s we get, and the majority will win. Oh, thank you, Alicia. And yeah, you know what? They did a direct deposit. I really didn't get a check, but it was like a check because it was deposited into my account, and I was just thrilled to death. I mean, I was beside myself that I had earned $170 for doing what I love, sharing videos with all of you. So I thought that was just fantastic. So I just can't help but to show this card. Oh, I just think it's so pretty. I just love that, the overlay of that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, and another thing that I think I might do is come back with some Wink of Stella on my flower. I think that would be really pretty. I mean, just so many ways that you could really doll that card up. Okay, so 3s, where I'm seeing 3s, and that would be the premiere, where I could just, it would be pre-recorded, and then I could come back in and chat with y'all. And what time would be a good time for it to premiere? I could record it in the morning, and we could do it tomorrow afternoon. Okay, it looks like the 3s have it. Now, I've never done a premiere, so I might have to do a little research on how to do that. But I'm game. I'm game if y'all are. we'll try that and see how it works. That way you can ask me questions, and hopefully Donna says 3. Now Jennifer won't be here tomorrow because she has clinicals all day tomorrow. So Donna, I don't know how you feel about doing, well, you won't have to moderate. I'll record it and then I'll just be there, and I'll be able to moderate my own. So that'll work out really good. I won't really need a moderator. Hey Kimberly, how are you? I've been wanting to email you. I hadn't seen or heard from you in ages. So good to see you. I hope everything's been going well in your life. Thank you, Marcia. Thank y'all so much. I have so enjoyed my time with y'all today, and when my software works, I am just thrilled to death. And the fact that when y'all come in from now on, if you see this, that means that my video, that is my logo. So if y'all see that little logo, that means that it is up for live and I'm getting ready to go live. And once I see the green light come on, that I am oh, I know, Brian. Sometimes it's like that, because I think a lot of times people come in, they'll watch your video up to maybe the first commercial, and they don't want to sit there till they can click off of that commercial, so they leave. I think that has a lot to do with your watch hours. So I do the same thing. That's one reason why I try to give interesting comment or content all the way through my video, and I try to make sure that I hold your attention. I think that's one of the main things. But anyway, when you come in to a live video from now on, you're going to see this Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. This is my logo. I bought this logo, designed it, and paid for it. So it's mine. Supposedly I have rights to it. So when you see that, you'll know that the live is going to start shortly. And I might even try to design something that says underneath it, where it'll say live will begin shortly. I was going to do that today, but it was done kind of on the fly, and I didn't get a chance to do that. So, Kimberly, if you didn't get a chance to see all this, you can always come back and watch this. And I did post earlier today. I did a really short video on the gingerbread and peppermint recipe album that we're going to be doing, and I think I'm going to do mine for like goodies, you know, candies and cookies and bars and all kinds of treats like that. But you can do yours however you want to do it. And there's a couple of other stamp sets that we might bring in, because Stampin' Up! Has 2 other stamp sets that's in the annual catalog, and I don't know if any of you have those. One is called What's Cookin', and one is measure something. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, thank you, Brian. Jennifer just told me I missed that comment. Yes, I would love to have you help me set it up, because I don't know how to do that. I've not done a Premiere. And I'm using OBS software, which I am finding I did not have to go through YouTube with today's. I can see everything. I can change my screens from, you know, from this to this, my craft table, you know, and then back to me. So I just love the fact that I have learned to do that. And you can set your transition so it can go in different ways. I just have it flipping over. Let me see what's cooking is on page 34. And what's the other one called? Something measure. Is it M? Measure of Love. And that's on page 32. So 32 and what's the other one I said? 34. 32 and 34. These would be really good to work with maybe you're cooking. 32. This one right here is called Measure of Love, and it's got cupcakes, and it's got a little scale and a mixing bowl, some cute little flowers and things like that. It's a real cute one. And then we go over to page 34, and look how stinking cute this one is. You have got your little celery, mushrooms, and tomatoes. You've got your spatula, spoon, and knife. The dies for this one are so cute because you have a butcher block board that you can use. So here's the dies right here. And that is so stinking cute. So something else to think, and you can make your own recipe cards using some of these. Just happiness is homemade. So I may be incorporating some of that into the book as well. I can't wait to get started on that. I think it's going to be a fun project. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. Jennifer just informed me that y'all were not seeing the catalog, and I am so sorry. I switched it back when I was talking about how I was switching it. So let me go back to page 32 and 34, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Page 32 is this one right here, called Measure of Love. And this one doesn't have dies. This is just a standalone stamp set. But I thought it was so cute with the cupcakes and the bowls. I love the little hearts. You can stamp this bowl in black and then do this in a color. You got all those little hearts where the bowl is just full of hearts. And then you've got your little scale. I think this is so cute. And even the cupcakes, you got the two-step stamping that will allow you to stamp the color of your wrapper and then stamp the color of your icing. You can also put these on your cupcake wrappers. Now let's go over to the other one, which is what's cooking. And that's this one right here on page 34. And this is so cute, and it has dies. Look at those dies. You have the little butcher block, you've got the stack for the measuring cups, the bowl, salt and pepper shaker, and look at the utensils and the rolling pin. Love, love, love the rolling pin. So, like I said, I will probably use those at some point in the book as well. Now, if you don't have those, you can, if it's in your budget and you can order those, you can order those. They probably won't get here while we're doing the video, but you could always hold out and watch the video with me and then come back and make your album later. So many different ways you can do that. Well, I'm not going to hold y'all any longer. I'm going to transition back over to my face so I can tell y'all goodbye and tell you just how much I love each and every one of you. Y'all are the best. Y'all are just the absolute best group of my crafty family, and I love y'all each one so dearly. And Marcia, you talked about, I sent you an email, I don't know if you got it, but yes, you can call me anytime. I know you said tomorrow wasn't good for you. Today wasn't good for me. So Thursday, Friday, whatever works for you will work for me. So just give me a buzz. You can send me a message if you want to ahead of time and let me know what time. It doesn't matter, or you can just call me. So I love you so much, and anybody else that feels the need that you want to reach out and touch base with me for anything, I'm here for you. And talking to my my craft friends, y'all are my friends. You know, you're not just customers. None of you. You're not just customers, you're friends, and I love you so much. So I'm not going to keep you any longer because I've been on now for almost an hour and a half, and I said I wouldn't do this to y'all, but here I went. I love you. God bless you, and as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. He's worthy of our love, our praise, and our life. Until we craft again, God bless and keep you. Bye-bye. Mwah.